Hey there, I'm Logan Guerry, a principal consultant at DAS42, specializing in advertising, media, and entertainment. And I'm here today to talk about automated acquisition and how B2C companies can go about auditing other high-value customers. The solution that we'll look at today leverages Snowflake CDP, Sigma, and DAS42's proprietary federated identity enrichment solution. For the sake of today's demo, we're going to take a look at Ray's Razors, a fictional company specializing in high-quality premium shaving and personal care products. Ray's is a multi-channel business. They have a proprietary web store where they have a full catalog ready for ad hoc purchasing from customers. That web store is also where they manage their subscription model, whereby users can sign up for monthly subscriptions to receive their same high-quality products at a discounted rate. They also operate and distribute through Amazon. They've been a top 10 seller in the storefront there for men's grooming products for a while. And more recently, they are piloting a partnership with Walmart Marketplace, using the digital marketplace that Walmart hosts to reach customers there as well. Ray's, for the sake of this demo, let's assume they really go after a subscription-first revenue model. Ideally, they would like to have customers who start to interact with the business as individual customers, convert into subscribers and move into one of those recurring revenue streams. They follow the typical model that you see in a lot of places: low, medium, high levels of subscriptions. And across those different tiers, they've actually managed to keep up a pretty high retention rate, 72% over a 6-month span for any customers that they do actually convert into the subscription model. And for the sake of growing their business, they want to go after a paid acquisition approach. They would really like to acquire new customers that, to the best of their ability, look and act a lot like their existing high-value segments in the business. Customers going after that full shave top tier subscription model, or having really regular purchases through the different distribution platforms. For this to all make financial sense for them, they really want to target an acquisition or an average acquisition cost per customer of around $50, and the lower they can get it from there, the better. And in partnership with DAS42, they are looking to use really modern approaches like Lookalike audience amplification to reach new audiences and measure real conversions on them. So how do we do this? A couple quick notes before we jump into the demo showing the solution itself. Step one is really data foundations and ensuring that Ray's has all of their customer data in a single location. We believe the Snowflake ecosystem is the best for this. A composable CDP platform in Snowflake can be a great way for companies of all sizes to consolidate their customer data, resolve it, and become more clear on who their customer is. But there's also a large and growing number of third-party CDPs that can also be hosted on top of Snowflake. So that's step one, getting all the data consolidated in one landing location. Step two would be actually resolving customers, helping Ray's in this case link individual records from their different distribution channels into single 360 records for real world individuals. And then from there, using the large number of identity graph providers and other enrichment opportunities in the Snowflake ecosystem to add additional attributes to their resolved customer records. Things like demographic and psychographic information that can play a meaningful role in helping them segment and understand who actually are our high value customers, not just from a ID standpoint, but from a real world behavioral and demographic standpoint. All of that ultimately in service of going and finding more customers that look similar to those. Fourth step then would be using a industry-leading solution for custom application development. Today we'll be looking at a front-end built-in Sigma, where Ray's and their advertising and marketing teams can do that analysis to understand who are our high-value customers, and then move on to actually building lookalike audiences on top of those seed audiences, finding new customers that look like them, and onboarding directly into their advertising platforms, whether that's through Snowflake clean rooms and private data shares, or directly into platforms via LiveRamp, Trade Desk, and many, many others in the Snowflake ecosystem. So with that, let's jump over and look at the application. So here we are over in Sigma in the custom application that advertisers and marketers at Raise can use to understand their existing customer base, identify high-value targets, build lookalike audiences, and then actually go through to onboarding and activating those audiences in their advertising platforms so as to acquire new high-value customers. Step one, like we mentioned earlier, is going from our distributed customer records that come in from the different sources where Raise sells their products, and consolidating down to real-world individual customers. It's only from there that we can actually zero in on who is high value and find others that look like them. So to do that, we can see here, as mentioned earlier, we have distribution for Raise going out from their own first-party web store, that pilot program with Walmart, and an existing long-running relationship in Amazon, selling through their distribution channel. And among those three different platforms, there's a little over 230,000 disparate customer records. And inherently within those, there's going to be some customers who purchase Raise products through the different platforms. So I myself, may be a subscriber and have purchased through the website, but occasionally I need to grab some extra razors and I jump on to Amazon and purchase those. With those disparate feeds, I can't clearly identify who exactly I am or a given customer is, and link all of their different purchase data to them. So to accomplish this, DAS42 has configured a combination of deterministic and probabilistic methods and models inside of Snowflake that take those disparate data sources and customer records from the web store, Amazon, and Walmart, and unify them, cooking everything down to a real-world individual. We can see here we've had a little over a 38% reduction rate, resulting in 144,000 real-world individuals that we can now look at comprehensively, understand their entire journey and interaction pattern with Raise as a business. And from there, we can also begin enriching and learning more about those individuals. And right off the bat, we see some insights. We start to get line of sight on, like I mentioned, multi-channel customers who have purchased from more than just a single location. And we can also get a little bit of visibility into what is actually fueling those deterministic and probabilistic resolution models. In cases where there's common digital identifiers, things like in this case phone number or hashed emails across multiple distribution platforms, there can be very deterministic literal logic, linking up, for example, hashed email or phone number values to boil down to real world customers. But in other cases where there are not shared digital identifiers, probabilistic methods using machine learning can do a great job to fill in the gaps and link with a high degree of confidence customers across the different distribution channels. So having done that, we, as a Raise marketer or advertising associate, can move on to looking at our customers in whole. So once we have resolved down to real-world individuals and gone through the steps, again, through identity enrichment and accessing all of the quality identity graph providers and marketplace data sets in Snowflake, we can learn much more about the customers who we already have a relationship with. So, internally, behavioral patterns that we see with how individual customers interact with the business can inform certain attributes, things like lifetime value tiers. We can put some definitions around identifying, who is what denotes a premium customer. In this case, it's existing purchase totals over $500 and forecasted totals over $250. But then there's other things, demographic data, for example, that we don't necessarily collect, but it would be nice to know about our customers because it ultimately can inform who high value segments are and really make us more efficient at purchasing advertising audiences that look a lot like our high value customers. So we can see here, we're filtered down to our platinum tier of lifetime value customers, folks that, like I mentioned, have spent over $500 with the business, and are forecasted to continue doing so over the next year. And we can, jump around, take a look at different people here. If we want to look into a specific customer, this can also be a tool for customer service teams to get a glimpse at a given person's interaction with the business. And again, going back to the advertising or marketer's perspective, this is really where we can begin identifying meaningful segments of customers within our business. So, for example, platinum lifetime value to your customers who are also subscribers, those sorts of things. We can create those segments here and then move on to assessing other high value customer segments, or building lookalike audiences and starting to go and acquire other people who look like Jean O'Connor. So next step, and really just kind of a pit stop on the way to launching more advertising campaigns, is analyzing some of the existing high value customers. We can see here we have a good critical mass of platinum tier customers. They have an impressive almost $800 lifetime value on average. Some of them are at risk, and from here we could take a look at the underlying customers who've been identified as at risk from our churn prediction model, and take a number of retention steps, whether that's launching an ad campaign that specifically retargets these folks with reduced pricing or coupons, or maybe it's just a communication campaign via email that reminds them of the benefits in the platform and hopefully encourages them to stay. We also get some insight too that there is a very large subscription opportunity segment. Folks who have proven themselves to be high lifetime value customers, but are not currently on a subscription model. They've spent a lot with us, but have not yet converted. So another subset, right, that we could launch into and really target for pushing subscriptions through, initial introductory values and maybe 3 months free, that kind of thing. Other insights to be gained here, we see that our platinum customers really low chance of churning when they do subscribe. And we can also start to get a sense of the slightly higher total lifetime revenue forecast that comes with being in that platinum tier. And we can understand more about our high value customers from a demographic perspective. The opportunities are really endless here. And one of the areas that DAS42 often helps our customers with is identifying the identity graph providers that can provide meaningful additional attributes beyond a client's first party data that give them real insight. Obviously common things, age distribution, income, household size, these things, sort of the industry standards, but based on different business models and products, there are a wide range of identity graph providers that are highly specialized to provide nuanced additional attributes beyond just the industry standard ones. So from here, we start to move into the area where it gets very exciting, and that's taking the high quality customer segments that we've identified internally from existing customers and using them as a seed audience to go out and find a large number of additional individuals or households that share key attributes with our internal segments, and then go advertise to them. And how we do this at DAS42 is we help our customers set up a federated identity graph, whereby they, in the Snowflake ecosystem, can take an existing audience, or segment, I should say. If you recall, we were looking at building segments earlier that represent high-value customers. We can take those seed segments and run them through a set of processes in Snowflake that reach out to individual identity graph providers, finding the one that has the highest quality match rate and return results for key attributes on that segment, and then actually build a lookalike audience off of them. So in this case, for Raise, they work frequently with LiveRamp, Trade Desk, and a large list of different providers in the Snowflake data marketplace. And these are all providers that, again, can, through the use of a seed audience, can echo back a larger audience that can then be used by Raise to go onboard into advertising platforms and push impressions to an audience that looks very similar to their existing high-value customers. We can make new lookalike audiences directly from here by selecting one of our internal segments. So if, for example, we wanted to really prioritize our subscription revenue over the next quarter, next 2 quarters, we could take a look at our platinum subscribers. And as we can see here, small segment size, but phenomenal predicted lifetime value. No surprise, 100% subscription rate. And a lot of them are actually multi-channel purchases or purchasers. From here, we can make a new lookalike audience that is based on platinum subscribers. However, in this case, I've already done that. So we can see here, let's find the platinum subscribers one. We've taken previously that core segment, sent it over to LiveRamp for amplification, and actually returned over 280,000 unique individuals who share the key demographics, key attributes, and key behavioral indicators of our internal customers. And now with that lookalike audience, we can begin launching campaigns, and we have in a variety of platforms. We've run 5 to date. I believe one of them is still active. And we see the impressions and conversions rolling in. And here we can start to get a picture of how what the impact of that lookalike audience generation effort is actually what it is in practice. We see a really acceptable cost of acquisition, hovering just over $40, and when compared to a lifetime value of $790, makes for great economics. And we can see, generally across all of our seed audiences, the performance that we're getting from the little bit of spend that we have incurred to go out and purchase lookalike audiences, as opposed to just doing general audience advertising. And then down here, just for a glimpse, we can actually look individually. Where are we? Yeah, it's this one, platinum subscribers. We can look at our generated lookalike audiences and get a better understanding of how we can actually advertise to them. So we see the different digital IDs that we can use based on platforms. So through Hems and Maids, we could reach folks via mobile. Cookie-based identifiers are going to be best for web. And then we have CTV identifiers for reaching folks on digital television. We can also keep an eye on our similarity scores and make sure that we're consistently getting records back in our lookalike audiences that share a very high degree of values with the audience that we provided. And then excitingly from here, the last step is we can keep really fine-grained tabs on our individual advertising campaigns that we are running using these lookalike audiences. So you can see here we have a variety of platforms that we run digital advertising through. And we've noted cases where we're using those generated lookalike audiences. And the performance, sort of speaks for itself, and we have all the visibility we need here over time to manage good campaigns. Great part about this is it brings together disparate campaign management into a single platform. So no need to hop between 4, 5, 6 different demand and distribution platforms. We can get up to the minute information here and identify campaigns that we need to prune, change, and move on from. And then as a final kind of performance indicator, we can also keep tabs on our cost per conversion over time. Conversion here defined as for lookalike audiences, we're doing prospecting and we're reaching out trying to find new customers that look like our existing high value customers. So a little bit higher cost per conversion there because we are going into the unknown and prospecting. And in the case of this orange line down here for the existing segment, this would be in trying to drive follow-up purchases or converting customers who to date have just been ad hoc purchasers into subscribers. In both cases, we are, as of recently, really getting under an ideal target of $30 for average cost per conversion, way down from the baseline prior to these efforts, which was floating up around $40. And then lastly, too, again, going back to that idea of a single pane for management of campaigns across platforms, we here can start to get a sense of where are we actually seeing the best return for our ad dollars. Looks like in this case, conversions are really peaking over in the Meta platform. Other things like CAC are at a pretty awesome low level there. So maybe this is somewhere we want to reallocate budget and kind of over-index. So in all cases, to recap, for razors, we have gone from a really hazy picture of distributed customers across different channels, resolving them into real-world individuals before we moved on to learn a lot more about those individuals. And then finally, building lookalike audiences off of our existing high-value customer segments, launching them into advertising platforms, and effectively automating acquisition of new customers that look just like them. Thanks for joining today as we went through automated acquisition. If you'd like to learn more about this or any of DAS42's other solutions, please feel free to reach out to us at DAS42.com/connect.